which is really good. And it looks like our draft has begun, and we have a immediate ban on Arthas coming out of... Oh.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah, okay,
That's fine.
and a ban on Zeratul.
Okay, Arthas and ban on Zeratul. That's something you mentioned. Ban on Zeratul, and we saw that last game too. Does this point to them immediately going towards another Bloodlust comp? That's one of the big disengages for Bloodlust.
Dread going
Prison.
Taz Tychus. That's pointing at
Taz
Bloodlust.
Tychus.
That's pointing at Bloodlust. So they have a few options now. You know, if they have to worry about Rhaegar. So if
iDream has to pick Rhaegar.
they don't have to get Rhaegar, they just need a disengage. They need Brightwing or Maw.
It's such an easy way. Like everything that they're picking right here is pointing towards Bloodlust. Why not just diffuse the bomb?
But Symbiote could be
immediately?
bluffing. They could just say, we're taking 2 top-tier guys and force them into a Rhaegar. Force them into a strat they don't want to do. So everything about this draft is just saying, look, we have exactly what we want right now. You let us get Taz Tychus. Thank you. Like, they're just, like, coming in just, like, already. It's like, they can do, and they have so many options. Symbiote can do whatever they want from here. They don't have to go Bloodlust. They don't have to do anything.
And it's crazy how the result of the first game, it being so dominating, is already giving them a huge advantage going into this draft because it's such a dominating position to start from. That Rhaegar, that Bloodlust is so scary that they are effectively dictating what the other team has to pick, unlike their second hero.
Yeah. Well,
We'll see.
they're thinking hard. They're like, "Oh God, did this just happen? God!" They're debating, and you know, Chen is the one pick that we have.
One pick, yeah.
For
I mean, Chen's just a solid hero all
Cloud9.
around.
Yeah, I mean that's good. It's good to have Chen. But what do they pair with Chen? They're obviously talking about Rhaegar.
They have to take. They're either saying we don't want to play Rhaegar at all. Follow Jaina.
Follow Jaina.
Jaina. Okay. How are they going to protect Jaina?
Well,
I don't think Chen is enough.
I think Panpals is huge.
It's good. It's a start. How is SMG going to look at this Jaina pick? Because
this
Jaina's for those of you guys who haven't played, if you guys haven't played Jaina, she can put out a lot of damage. That's not necessarily the problem. The issue is keeping her alive. She has no escapes. She just has slows. She can talent into some roots and stuns later on, but she as a kit as a whole is very immobile, and it's very scary for her to be out. She has to be protected. Okay, so SMG has decided to go with Illidan and Rhaegar. God, this is
so gosh. They don't have their support yet, and I feel like, I mean, Sheth is very comfortable on Brightwing.
He's comfortable on Brightwing. He's comfortable on Uther.
I feel like Brightwing is a must pick. Brightwing does well against Illidan, period. But
Divine Storm was not enough last game.
No. You need that Emerald Wind. And they need it badly. But they also need zoning. Now, Emerald Wind is actually paired really well with Jaina as well. So you have Jaina, you have Emerald Wind. It works good for her. It helps keep her alive, and it disengages Bloodlust. So I think Brightwing is like a must pick here as their support. But for their final pick, I mean, they honestly kind of want more zoning. They want another frontliner.
No Falstad picked yet.
I could see Nazebo or Zagara. I could see Nazebo or Zagara actually being picked too, though.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, Falstad is a strong pick regardless. We could see Falstad Brightwing, or we could see them try to go for even more disengage. Those are certainly options.
I
mean, I gotta say, it really, whatever they end up picking, I've got to give the edge already to SMG in this. It's so scary. They have like 3 out of the 4.
What did I say?
Yep.
Zagara Brightwing.
You called it.
It just makes sense. You got the super hard disengage. You have the extra control on the battle.
Yep. So it's those 2 players that is going to make the most difference in this game.
iDream. Am I your drafter? Do I just draft for you? Do you just read my brainwave?
No. So, yeah, it's going to come down to those mods. It's going to come down to the sick Emerald Winds. If they can't land those abilities, that's it, GG. So there's a lot of pressure on those 2 players to execute their heroics in the right spot. Now, they need a tank. SMG does. What's available to them? I want to say they're going to go with a Nubarak, or a Nubarak is what I'm leaning towards here.
You know, that's a tough call. Picking your tank here.
It depends on how much SMG values an Uberak after all these changes. He did take quite a few hits from the nerf bat, as we were talking. Loses rewind. He has less leech and damage on his heroic, and his shield ability is lowered as well. That said, Dreadnought is really strong on an Uberak. What is this?
Okay, why get a tank when you could have a tank that heals?
Okay, that's weird. That's very different from the typical meta.
This is unique.
What is going on here?
This is unique. Nothing else can be said other than this is
First
unique.
of all, Dreadnought's playing Uther. I don't think I've ever seen him play a support. Ever.
He's not.
He's almost always on.
Guys, okay. My brain hurts. I don't.
We're befumbled on this.
Yeah,
one. Making up words.
I can't make a strong analysis on this other than this is cool.
So they have 3 supports. Yeah, technically, 3 supports.
SMG is showing us something very new here.
What's the idea here behind this? I mean, yeah, obviously you can look at just the heroic synergy. If you get a nice Bloodlust off and you get Divine Storm with a Bloodlust, oh my gosh. I mean, that's scary. But
well, guys, the players are ready. The casters are ready. And here we go into game number 2 between C9, Cloud9, Vortex, and
SMG.
Symbiote.
God, this is going to be weird. I'm so excited to see how this game plays out. It's gonna be, what is this? I'm racking my brain about what. I don't know. We have to just sit back and watch. We're gonna be learning with you guys here. Maybe this is to change the new meta here. Triple support. Sort of triple support.
Oh. Well,
mind blown already at the draft screen.
Let us introduce our teams here.
Absolutely. So for Cloud9 Vortex, we have Liquid Chef on Brightwing, Bobby Hank Hill on Chen, Jinte, Vala, Rarjar is going to be playing Jaina. Yeah. Interesting pick. iDream, Zagara.
And you know what? Let's just look at that My Little Pony. With the 3rd tint, that means he's at least level 8 on his Jaina. Crazy. So he's been playing a lot of Jaina. That's quite a few games this week alone. So he's going to be comfortable. And on the other side of the map, we have Dreadnought playing Uther on the Golden Money Pig. We have Tassadar here being played by the one and only KO Med Timmy playing Rhaegar, of course, with that fiery Rhaegar skin. And Tycho will be played by Arthalon and Soldier. Rockin' Illidan once again.
Zagara took Demolitionist.
Not uncommon.
Not uncommon?
No, not uncommon.
Okay. I know it's taken sometimes, but I feel like in competitive play there was always the other talent that was taken.
Well, ever since they nerfed her. They nerfed her.
This is true.
So Demo has become...
okay, this first talent for Jaina. I know you've played a lot of Jaina.
It could be 2 things because it has the same icon.
That's not one of the freeze ones.
Oh, no. That's the Frostbolt range. That's the
Frostbolt range.
30% on Frostbolt for level 1 here in Jaina. We can just look at the talents really quick here. That's Frostbolt, Demo, the increased ammo there, and pretty standard stuff besides that.
Yes, taking the range. Again, we're seeing the additional chain heal on Rhaegar. Extra damage to primary target for Arthalon's Overkill. And, of course, the shield for Soldier's Illidan.
Very interesting indeed.
Still triple lane on the bottom.
Triple bot, that hasn't shifted now. The one change that they've made to this map is it used to be giants down here, but it is now a night camp, known as a bruiser camp.
You were getting there. Also, the camps spawn later than they used to. I think it was 1.5 minutes they used to spawn. Now it's 2 minutes. Undocumented changes.
That's interesting. I wasn't
quite a few in this last patch. Not sure. You know, of course, teams are well aware of this, and they're going to tune their strategies, especially if they're doing any kind of jungling strategy, which isn't particularly common. But, you know, Chef's on Brightwing. He's got the bribe. We'll see. We'll see how it plays in. Of course, he couldn't have that many stacks at that point.
Yeah, Bribe is really good on this map. Probably the best map for Bribe. And maybe Blackhearts is better. But one cool thing to do is take offensive giants on this map. In certain scenarios, it's really good. We can see they're actually very aggressively hunting down that Rarjar.
This is a weird lane.
The Jaina. Now, level 2, he did grab Arcane Intellect, or level 4, tier 2. Rarjar, you can see how low his mana is. Now, he tapped the well. But with Arcane Intellect, he actually refunds mana on anything that's slowed. So after he casts that initial spell, any spell or auto attack gives him mana back. So by unloading on a creep wave, you refill your mana pretty quick. So something really... I'm actually surprised he's using his Hearth.
Okay, another strange talent choice, KO on Tassadar, has decided to go with the Oracle upgrade rather than Healing Ward. No, actually that's not strange at all because they have double healer. Why would you need all that extra? So they're saying, oh, what other utility can we get out of Tassadar right now? Not a lot of strong options on the level 4 talents, but hey, having that extra vision is always nice. I believe that's the one that reduces the cooldown.
I've actually never grabbed that.
Pretty sure that's
upgrade.
What it is.
So that's I'm a healing ward purist when it comes to that talent. I think it's too good.
Maybe not when you're running 2 supports.
Three supports. You got shields. You got everything you'd ever want there. Yep. So that's pretty cool to see.
Okay, so Jinte on Vala is definitely going to be running the multi-shot build, buffing into getting the grenades, extra DPS. Extra range at level 1.
It's you know, the one thing about Vala is she's always built a little bit differently, but that build has become pretty popular, especially on a map like Haunted Mines. But it's quite good on any map for sure. A lot of damage on Arthalon, but Mad Timmy and Dreadnought. I mean, how do you kill them? How do you kill a Rhaegar and Uther with a Tychus? Like you can do as much damage as you like. Chef actually considering the bribe, but realizing they're not in lane, decides to fall back. Throws a poly down. He's actually just continuing to poke, but he doesn't want to get too out of position. Just continuing to posture.
And they're keeping an eye on this. They know what he's up to.
Oh my god, but Matt Timmy's there, and Chef will get it. Chef will get it. His team rotates up. They got the bribe. Nicely done. But the Dragon Shrines are available, and they need to rotate back down here to make sure they defend their bottom shrine.
And Uther, level 7, that's Dreadnought, of course, he takes the upgraded trait. I believe that gives him more damage on his abilities while he's in ghost form, or more effectiveness on his abilities.
Interesting decision there. Now we see both shrines are taken here by Cloud9, so Symbiote needs to make sure they don't give up this middle. Dragonite Jinte is trying to do what he can, but KO keeping him at bay for now. Storm, increased range would help.
So what that tells me, that Uther took that talent. Perhaps they're foretelling a bit that they're going to be suiciding Uther into the fights, just to get that nice Divine Storm off, and then follow it up with the Bloodlust. We'll have to see.
Hey, if it's a tank that just keeps fighting and doesn't stop,
when he dies, he doesn't actually die in the team fight. So maybe they'll be just say, okay, we'll trade off 1 hero, you lose all 5. That's the goal, perhaps.
You know, Symbiote has been pioneering.
Absolutely. That's why it's so exciting to see this, because this could be the beginning of the change to the meta. You know, running Suicide Uther, who knows?
This could be a shift for sure. Both once again in favor of Cloud9 here, but the Dragonite once again being stalled out. Soldier recapping the top
It is rare to see Dragonites capped early when the teams are so closely matched in skill. Usually one team has control of the bottom, and it's tough to get these rotations off where the team can have control of top, control of bottom, and then take mid. It's so rare to see that until a later game when some deaths have happened, etc.
Well, level 10 has been achieved here for Symbiote. And, you know, they have that advantage now. Now, Cloud9 is very close, but Symbiote could go for a cheeky rush in. This is scary. Level 10, okay, is achieved. Heroics have been taken by every single player.
No surprises on SMG. Of course, they're going to go with the Archon, Odin, Bloodlust combo, Metamorphosis, Divine Storm.
Indecisive. Jaina's being
Still
indecisive,
has not decided.
Will she go? Both of her heroics are huge, and actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Bloodlust, Ring of Frost is almost a guaranteed pick. Now she's still waiting. She might be able to get a cheeky play with the elemental, but yeah, Ring of Frost is definitely going to be a nice pick to beat anti-Bloodlust.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
That's a good point. We didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, I just thought about it right now, and
that's a very strong. No, I'm trying to.
Wow. You know, they got the Dragonite. Symbiote decided to fall back, grab some Knights. Cloud9 realized immediately, look, they're not here.
They had Arthalon was down too. They had a bit of an advantage. Like you need to get really one of those heroes killed so that you have an advantage.
He went for the Water Elemental.
He did choose Water
Elemental. He did go for the Water. Now, the Water Elemental is a lot stronger than the other summons. If you've never seen Jaina played before, if this is your first game ever watching Jaina, you can actually micro the Water Elemental and do some really cool stuff. And at level 20, you can upgrade it so it actually mimics every single spell you cast, and it is quite strong.
How much damage is this Dragon Knight going to do? It doesn't look like too much, and they're doing a decent job repelling it. Of course, they haven't taken any forts yet. That's ideally the goal here. Kind of looks like they're going to repel it very easily.
Well, I mean, got to consider the experience you get from the tower. So the Dragon Knight still had a lot of value there. Mad Timmy is taking a lot of damage backing up. Jinte is actually going to die here. But he actually gets Mad Timmy the multi-shot just enough. And Soldier is going to try to fight Bobby Hank Hill, but as soon as he sees that sparkles from Chef, he should have left immediately because that polymorph.
Okay, wow. The creep was in perfect position for him to get an escape. And of course, I'm sure he planned that out. He said, okay, I'm going to do as much damage as I can here. I can still see that there are a couple creeps over by my fort. I still have an escape even if my health gets really low.
I mean, I've heard that Soldier was a gymnast at the age of 4. And he's just been flipping out of there for many years.
All right, so looking at the talents, of course, Arthlon's going to grab Relentless, worried about all of the slows and everything on the other team. Makes sense. Prescience, again, taken for Tassadar, deciding not to go with the slow on the auto attacks.
So Tassadar is Survivadar right now. He's really just about surviving.
And we see Sprint on Uther. So, hey,
this is a hard engage. Yeah. Uther initiation, follow up with meta, Bloodlust.
It's sort of like a weird Tyrael, except you sacrifice yourself. You run in, that's the sprint. Run in, and throw down that AoE stun, and then just follow it up with Bloodlust. That has to be their plan.
But that Ghost form upgrade, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, he knows he's gonna die, and he's preparing for it. And I guarantee you that Cloud9 is looking at his talents very closely as we see he has cleanse? He has cleanse, yeah. So that poly immediately cleansed. I was like, why did that poly go off so quick? He cleansed it instantly, just reactionary, removing that cleanse.
Who has cleanse? Did I miss that? No, that's. I'm pretty sure that's not cleanse. No, that's the upgrade for his auto.
Oh.
Holy Devotion, yeah.
Okay, so why did that poly last 0 time?
Oh, maybe Relentless. Was it on Tychus?
It was on. It was on Uther. So
okay, I'm not sure.
This is a build for Uther I have never seen before.
It's not so much that the build is weird. It could happen. It's the composition that he's playing with.
Right.
That is super
it's very
strange.
cool. Now they're going for this tower. They want that 400 experience. They're gonna have to back up here as iDream's damage output is actually insane. You see that Hunter Seeker, that Hydralisk chasing you. You know it's time to back up because those things dish out a lot of damage.
There it is.
Nice. The double stun going in. The damage output. Mad Timmy gets caught in the maw, and iDream is actually going to get out of here. Chef throwing every little heal he has, but we do have the Archon here, so they don't want to back up while they stuff some Archon efficiency. But that Strife is so big. This is huge for Cloud9. They took that perfectly. Notice how Jaina has just been like kind of uncontested.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so many strange things happened in that fight. Oh no. Oh no.
Not like this. Not like this. Rajar, that's fighting that Arthlon. You have the increased range on Frostbolt. Let's actually take a look at Rajar's build really quick. So we have the Ice Lance, which reduces the cooldown by 2 seconds when you hit anything that's chilled. So as long as they're chilled initially, if you hit Cone of Cold, then you throw Ice Lance or Frostbolt, your next Frostbolt is 2-second cooldown. You pair that with Icy Veins later on. Icy Veins is at the next tier. He hasn't picked his tier yet. He's the only one on that team that has not selected. They are level 16. They have the level advantage, but he has not picked it.
Let me know once he hits level 16.
Let me know when he hits that because
I believe that's it.
That is not. That is actually. That is Northern Exposure. So that's the Cone of Cold. He's going for full-on damage. So when he uses Cone of Cold, enemies take an additional 25% damage. So what he wants to do, he's not going for Icy Veins. He's going to Cone of Cold first, and then he's just going to unload and just Frostbolt as much as possible. The thing is keeping him alive to do this, Jaina's range isn't that long. It's going to be difficult. But
what I will say, this game is passive. Look at this, 4 kills each team. Almost... we're getting close to like the 12-minute mark here.
It's not that uncommon
for
Dragon
Knight's been taken.
It's not that uncommon for Dragonshire to be like this, but well, we have a big initiation here. Chef using the Emerald Wind, very, very clutch, very nicely done. The perfect positioning here. Mad Timmy will pay with his life, and so will KO. There is no chance that he's getting out of here.
Not gonna happen.
Tempest is looking quite good right now, and Jinte though, as soon as I say that, Jinte will be deleted. Bobby Hank Hill has Panda Pals available, so he's just fine.
Okay, so the big story of that little engagement that happened up there, they were able to get Illidan down low enough, and he has Metamorphosis still. He surely wanted to find the opportunity to hit 3 people with that. Opportunity never came up fast enough. He just got bursted down faster than he was anticipating. Surely that would have changed the outcome of that fight. Didn't see it, so of course we see SMG losing more heroes, a 3-to-1 trade. Obviously not what they were looking for.
I just want to make a little point here. I want to give some praise. I want to give some praise to everything that we're seeing out of Cloud9 right now. But Chef's Brightwing has been
on point.
Pretty much flawless.
We saw that little engagement that happened down bottom where Uther ran in. He was right there with the Brightwing disengage. And then we had a pretty good Maw to follow that up as well. And so far, their plan to disengage the Bloodlust has been on point.
We said this is what they had to do after last game, and they're doing it.
They're executing
incredibly
so far.
So I'm really happy with what we're seeing. And this Dragonite is still alive. Still got another 15 seconds. Yep. So they're going to see what damage they can get done. They're happy to throw it at this keep with 10 seconds remaining. Oh, the dot. He actually baits the punt there using his abilities to survive, but he's taking a lot of damage. The Lust goes down to try to get him out. Metamorphosis goes on in, doing what damage they can, but the Emerald Wind again. As soon as the Metamorphosis goes down, they use it, try to disengage the Bloodlust, but iDream taking a lot of damage here. Soldier does fall. Dreadnought is in the front line. He doesn't care too much if he dies, but wow, we see the Chen going in. Bobby Hankill does not have Panda Pals available. All heroics are on cooldown except Odin, which is actually just going to fall here.
Yeah, and everything has been used for both teams.
And yes,
only the one death on the Illidan so far. A lot of stuff happened without much stuff happening.
It was really, I mean, just everyone played perfectly. But look at the value that Rajar is getting. He's just throwing the Blizzard in there, and one hit from the Blizzard, and you have to run away. It's very strong, and this build is actually super cool. I'm stealing it. I'm going to be trying it tonight, that's for sure, because I'm really enjoying
making it work. And I don't think that Jaina has died yet, so far his positioning has been very good. Of course, that's really going to be the mark of solid Jaina players in the future, is how often do they get caught out of position, because that's certainly her biggest weakness.
Now, one thing to note, that Jaina's damage is actually bugged. It doesn't display most of her crit damage and her Blizzard damage, so we can't look at how high her damage is, but I bet you it's actually pretty darn high.
I would say that the 0 death so far is a bigger story.
Oh, it is, but she's getting damage done for sure, and the utility from the slow, because that you know.
All right, so what does this loss of a team fight mean for SMG? Map control seems to be about even. Probably the bigger story is that they're that much closer to level 20. They're only about a half a level away. Do they have at least one resurgence? They won't be able to grab more than that, so that's not really a huge advantage for them, but they're going to be taking, I'm sure, triple Emerald Wind, even better disengage to deal with that. I wonder if they're going to take the upgrade level 20 for the Snowman. Actually, it's not a Snowman, and this was just Water Elemental.
Sadness. The Emerald Wind to keep Dreadnought pushed forward, followed by a Polymorph. He actually stays alive, but he will end up falling here. Soldier taking a ton of damage, popping Metamorphosis at the last possible second to try to stay alive, using First Aid, so he's back at full health almost immediately, just showing how strong Illidan can be. iDream is actually in a really bad spot here, and he will fall to the Ghost and Soldier. Arthlon, how much else do they have under that? Not a ton. He uses First Aid, so he's actually back up to full. SMG bringing it back. Lost a hard team fight. This is going pretty good for them. Vala has just a sliver of help, so we're not going to see her being back in this fight, and Bobby is backing on up with his Panda Pals. What does SMG decide to do, though?
Okay, so that fight was honestly weird, and I didn't expect it to go that way. It looked like the position that SMG had set themselves up for, where they sort of got in between C9, and they were separated. I figured, oh, this is like, surely they're just, you know, setting themselves up to just get ruined here. But the people that got separated was really what told the fight there. You had Illidan basically backed up in a corner, you know, up against Jaina. I think it was Zagara too, and he just did so much damage. And without the healer nearby, Brightwing was also separated as well.
Let's talk about
not heroic you want to do.
Bolt was used, Strafe was used, and she stayed alive, but that cost them a lot. Sheriff Soldier's taking a lot of damage. He does have First Aid, and he's got 3 healers on his team. It looks like he actually has, he just backed on up to Uther to get a little bit of healing done to him, and he'll be just fine here. So they picked up the Dragonite, and Vala is not that scary for another few seconds. Now, does she have battle momentum?
Does she have?
Yes.
Yeah, that's typical.
So it's not as big of a deal as it could be on another tier for popping that heroic, because she will have that heroic ready to roll before we know it.
So SMG, having taken that previous team fight, they were able to get a little bit of map control. They were able to take both shrines and the Dragon Knight. Gives them a little bit of push power. Nothing too crazy though. You'd expect that they'd be able to clean up this fort. Doesn't appear to be the case. And another team fight seems to be unfolding here.
Yeah, I mean, we have the Lust going in here. The Emerald Wind used almost immediately. Dreadnought being pushed way up into the top. The level 20, the triple pulse there is huge, but Dread is still alive, and he's still got that Ghost Form. The big nuke doing a lot of damage, and the Maw goes down, but all this does is delay the inevitable. This fort's going to be in a bad spot. They don't have Zagara. The Ghost is going to linger here for a long time, so they effectively have all 5 members able to push, and we see that this fort's going to go down, but I don't know that SMG will really want to push this too hard.
Okay. So that was cute. What actually, the big thing that stood out to me in that particular team fight, you saw the Brightwing triple Emerald Wind go off. Soldier on Illidan just waited for a little bit, went skirted around the corner. Oh God!
Did you see how much burst that was? That was actually insane. Like, he had 6% health and he just was removed immediately. Mad Timmy's in a really bad spot. Backs up here. He does in fact fall. Bobby Hankill popping his Panda Pals to try to fend off Soldier and Dreadnought sprinting away. Soldier's going in on Rajar, but the Panda Pals really showing how good you can zone for a Jaina, getting in front of her instantly, saying, "Get off my girl. She's my waifu. Please leave her alone." And Rajar.
So they were able to take some sneaky giants there. They turned it up. They took that team fight pretty clean, 3-0. That's the type of stuff they have to do to keep even footing. They are ahead by about a half a level right now. These advantages sort of tend to tail off in the later game, and it really comes down to how many forts have you taken, how close are you to pushing down their core, so that when those giant team fights, those aces happen where 5 people go down for one team, can you end the game right there? It's rare that those 2-level advantages from like 26 to 24 is going to make that much of a difference in the team fights.
Yeah, well, I mean, both teams looking really good. Game can definitely go either way at this point. I mean, it's pretty even. Not a single keep has been taken. Multiple forts have been taken by each team.
So much mobility
on
Cloud9.
Yeah,
3 bolts.
You're right.
3 bolts, and they have the disengage from the Brightwing with the triple Emerald Wind. Like, it's the right picks. It's honestly the right picks. If they see an engagement with the Bloodlust they don't want to take, a lot of them can get out of there.
Level 20 talents. You can see all the talents picked for this map here. Screen cap it if you guys want to copy these builds. We've got Bolt, Resurgence, and Continuous Winds, and we have a team fight happening here. So we're gonna be making sure we catch the action. So hopefully you guys grab the screenshot. The replay will be available for you as well. But Knight's gonna do a little bit of work. They got the 650 experience from this tower, just enough for them to just say, hey, good enough. Let's back up.
It's a bit passive, but Knights, ever since the changes, like maybe 3 patches ago, they're not as strong as they used to be. Giants are arguably much stronger in terms of push power. If you can keep them alive, they will do a lot more damage to structures.
Yeah, back in the day when Knights healed, they had crazy efficiency.
And they had that buff. You remember the buff ring that was around them? Anybody standing inside did extra damage.
That was a bad day.
But Knights were, much more of a contention point back then.
Yes.
Now, not so much. You see someone pushing up with Knights, it's going to be short-lived.
They're going to push your lane, but once they get to the towers, they're just going to kind of melt.
Right. So we see some posturing, a little bit of footsies from both teams. They're trying to maybe get somebody out of position a little bit. Of course, these are very well-seasoned teams, so we see this type of dance go on for a long time.
Bobby Hankill in the front line. We see Odin being popped as well. Panda Pals goes down. Archon, Bloodlust, they are going in, and the full disengage has happened here. Chef still has his Emerald Wind, using it right then and there. This is Cloud9 saying, we are backing on out. Enough of that. Look at the health bar here on Jinte, just barely surviving. Using that, I can't even think what it is. Rapid incubation here on Zagara. Healing right on up right quick. Going to push this lane back. And Cloud9 has to worry about the Dragonite.
Yes. If team fights continue to happen the way that Cloud9 wants them to happen, we're going to have a really long game. I can tell you that.
Joe just barely misses it. Just at the last possible second. Symbiote gets the Dragonite. Cooldowns are... Nothing's ready except for Metamorphosis and Archon on the side of SMG. SMG has a big advantage. Illidan is dead here, and that kind of mitigates their advantage quite a bit. No meta was used. So this Dragonite, which for a second had huge potential, now needs to be on the defensive.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that they were really hoping to push out that keep with. They lost Illidan early. They have a ton of healers, but they weren't able to keep him alive with the burst healing. And like you said, this advantage it's become a defensive one.
Like, they went from having heroic advantage in Dragonite to losing one of their heroic players that was available. And
they're turning this into their own push. Look
at this. Why not? I mean, you have the advantage now. That this might be a little bit of a bait. Jaina in a scary spot here, realizing this and backing on up. And the punt then goes down on Zagara. She'll be fine down there. Bobby Hankill is actually down there, making sure she's okay. always watching his waifu.
So it's a weird pick from Dreadnought on Uther to be going Resurgence. I get it, like he's going to be suiciding in, but you don't have the range.
I think it's necessary, unfortunately.
Yeah, though. It's a tough call to make.
He's playing a tank, and you need that Resurge. Yeah. So this is like, look, I'm never going to be dead. Resurgence timer kicks in right after he spawns, and then he'll have that Ghost to stay alive. Look at the value he's getting. I mean, he's going to get a kill here. Oh, Bobby Hank kill is a big part of that, but that Ghost got a decent chunk of damage done, and
he's back.
Yeah, he's back. He's back.
Fairly short cooldown on that heroic, especially after the fact that if he pops it while he's still alive and he's in that ghost form afterwards, he's only got 30 seconds left until it's back up.
So let's talk about that fight just a little bit. Honestly, Cloud9 was kind of disorganized. Once the punt happened on Zagara, they were just really, they kind of had to fall back.
They weren't sure how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have this giant health bar that you are not going to be able to burst down, and at any moment it can just decide, oh, I'm going to kick this person out of the fight. Like, how do you really engage that?
It's tough. The angle in which Zagara got kicked was unoptimal, put them out of position, and more or less their positioning lost them that fight more than anything. And now SMG got a keep out of it. Yep. They have a push with Giants.
They have Divine Storm up. They can still go in. Metamorphosis timer is a little bit bugged, so I'm not sure. I think that should still be up. So they certainly can take structures till their heart's content, basically until people come up. I like that they're backing up here to take Knights now that the entirety of C9 is back up. They are going to contest it, it looks like.
Well, yeah, Bobby Hankill is actually going to end up stealing this. Knights taking their Emerald Wind. Actually, a little bit of an overlap. That's kind of a misplay using Emerald Wind and Maw. Dreadnought is going to fall for it anyways, so it ended up being okay, but that was an unnecessary Maw. A little miscommunication. Chef really low, backing up here, popping both his shield and his pixie powder, pixie dust, and actually going to fall. Actually going to fall as well. So what looked amazing didn't end up panning out because the focus was really, really well done and decisive by Symbiote Gaming. Yeah. They managed to get the kill on both Vala and Brightwing.
That ghost form. How do you deal with that? I mean, like,
you can't. That's the power of it.
It dies, and it's like, well, I'd like to zone this guy out, but he just walks right through me and casts spells on the people I'm trying to protect. It's a really interesting take on a warrior class. He is the support warrior of the game.
Supportier. And that's the new talent, or the new specification.
And you know, he basically was in there disrupting everything just about. And yeah, the right wing triple disengage on the Emerald Wind there, it did overlap a lot with the Maw.
It was just a waste. Like, if you had that Maw for the second half of that, after the Emerald Wind expires, you go up above the Knights, and then you throw down a nice Maw. We potentially have a very, very, very different result for that team fight. But Dragonite, both are capped. Shrines aren't being contested by anyone. Everyone's in the middle lane.
Pentapals are up.
Yes, Pentapals are popped here. And honestly, Cloud9 needs to not lose this fight. They need to defend this Dragonite potential and push this back here. A lot of damage going down from the Blizzard. Jaina just keeping her, her distance. She's always on the far end of the focus of the battle, as she has to be, just always staying very passive, waiting on her cooldowns. Bobby Hankill gonna die. Resurge is available. We see the disengage happens, and that's gonna be a Dragonite available here.
That pinned soldier down to the wall. He could not move. That was smart.
That makes a big difference here, but Chef is super, super low. The Odin just manages to get it at the very last second. A rapid incubation, healing up iDream a little bit here, throwing down everything they have, but their heroics are on cooldown. Bolt at the last second. iDream will live. Chen is back in the battle because of Resurgence. Matt Timmy is going to fall. That's actually a pretty big deal, but Dreadnought just walked on back and grabbed their Dragonite, and there's going to be this keep is in for a hurting.
So many really good plays from each team. Like, they were able to pin down that Illidan. He had no targets to jump to get out. Because of that, Emerald Wind was pushing him to the wall. And then I think it's like the second or third time we've seen the Archon range be the deciding kill on Liquid Chef. On Brightwing. Every time he thinks he's safe with the positioning, but the extra range on the Archon is just enough to poke him and kill him. And it's like they had a good position. If they just backed up from that spot there, they would have had a decisive victory on their hands, but it sort of ended up evening out a little bit.
It's almost made Tassadar into a different beast. His damage might be a little bit less, but his threat is still there for sure.
Of course.
The burst from that Frostbolt taking, not Frostbolt, I guess it was the Vala taking out. I'm getting everything mixed up. I'm not even sure what killed Zagara.
This game is crazy, I will say that.
But yeah, Zagara got riggedy wrecked in that little initiation, and we see a lot of damage.
He's going to have to sprint to get out. Does he have it? No, he must have Resurgence off, otherwise Oh! Okay, I think he was looking to possibly just pop that Divine Storm and sprint out of there maybe, but
he should still have Resurge.
Yeah, I think he does.
He's going to just be annoying and just smack away around a little bit. Water Elemental is going to dissipate here. And, you know, they kept the keep alive. I'm impressed.
They do have a decent-sized wave push down at the bottom lane here. Right wing is going to go back to clean that up. They're just going to take Knights. Pretty passive play from here on out. Basically, both teams are going to wait for everyone to be back up.
I got to say, I'm really, really loving the Jaina.
So far,
19
yeah.
Into, it's cool. We actually were worried we might not see a whole lot of Jaina. Look at this, 109,000, 72,000, 28,000.
So much healing.
On one team, like, that's actually just terrifying, the amount of sustain they have available. And
I mean, this could be a play on the fact that they know games are going to last longer. Having that extra support with the higher health pools and everything late game.
It's cool.
Maybe it's a way to sort of play to that meta.
It definitely could be. Well, we see these Knights being taken here for Cloud9. Knights already pushing in the top lane for Symbiote, so those Knights will do well to counter push that. They don't have to worry about their top lane. Bottom lane, Symbiote is there in full force cleaning up these Knights, and looks like Cloud9 wants to engage them there.
So one of the points that I was trying to bring up before, I think a team fight happened as I was trying to say it. Looks like it's going to happen again. These teams are both playing a bit of footsies right now, just waiting, trying to feel each other out, seeing if one team wants to engage, stick out a little bit too much.
Look at this, Dreadnought just you know, peeling in the back, getting rid of that creep tumor actually, and you know, I thought he might actually sprint into Divine Storm.
Yeah, if he ran in from behind, God, that would have been a crazy play.
It's an interesting idea, but his Resurge is on cooldown, so he might not want to do that just yet, because once he dies, he doesn't have Resurgence. It's now 3 minutes instead of 2, so you got to take that into consideration. Resurgence isn't as strong as it used to be, but it's still a very good talent. Feral Lungeon here in Poppy Tankill, just kind of poking at him, keeping him honest, as our little flaming reindeer Rhaegar backs on up.
So basically what SMG is looking for to start a team fight is perhaps to get people grouped up so they can get in for a giant Divine Storm.
Look at the positioning on this. Bobby Hankill going on the opposite side with Panda Pals to keep KO out of position, and then Emerald Wind pushing him out of the fight for a little while here, but everyone on Cloud9 is getting quite low except Jaina and Vala. They're the important ones to keep alive. They're going to keep getting their value as long as they can, but everyone else has to be very, very passive here. Chen is going to go down. Resurgence is available. 3 seconds till he's back up. SMG, everyone's pretty healthy except the Uther, but he can heal up very easily, and that's definitely a big win for SMG.
Yeah. I didn't see where the Maw went down in that fight. It was used at some point. I didn't pay close attention to that part. But the problem I'm noticing is there's a lot of transformations. You have Odin, you have Archon, and you have Metamorphosis. If you get a really nice Emerald Wind off, it stalls the other team for maybe like 2-3 seconds or so.
Liquid Chef is in a tight spot here. Soldier is going to secure this kill. And iDream also in a rough spot as we see members are coming to help him out, though. So Soldier now has to back that up
he
here.
Knew the right time to back up.
Yeah, Storm Shield actually just keeping him alive, getting him the additional healing. Storm Shield I think was enough to just kind of buffer while his heal got off. Still very low, but as I say that, Dreadnought says,
triple support.
Be happy. Be happy.
Yes.
And
surely they will get the
when you're
Dragon
healthy,
Knight
you're
out
happy.
of
But Rarjar needs to bolt out of here, opting for a bolt at 20. Double bolt goes on out, and they'll be just fine here. Look at that slow. It's not even the upgraded slow. It's still very significant. But another Dragonite. I think this has been 3 in a row.
These get really scary once you hit the 30+ minute mark. They do so much damage to the keeps, and this thing is already down to less than a quarter HP.
3 hits at max.
Go down. I wouldn't even be surprised if they were able to rotate up, take the top keep. Maybe even if they grab a kill here, certainly with the end of the game. They have to be really careful. C9 Vortex has to be careful.
I don't know if I agree with this. No, he's going to get a lot of damage done.
It does a lot of damage.
Okay, all right, I take it back. I agree with it.
Oh, really nice Maw. That's really great to stall for this.
And the Dragonite's taking a lot of damage, but look at the core. Emerald Wind trying to push them back, but it's not going to be enough. Symbiote using that Dragonite's power. As soon as I say I don't agree with Symbiote,
They knew.
They say,
they
Jake,
still know when to
Jake,
SMG.
you need to actually just stop not agreeing with us, and because you're going to be wrong.
They knew when
every
to go
time.
And it's smart. And the Dragonite is, once you hit that 30-minute mark, it takes huge chunks off the core still. And that scaling for the core health starts to slowly dissipate the longer you go past 20-minute mark. So you can still take them down in situations where you have either a Dragonite strong map mechanic or you take an ace on the other team. So certainly they had the opportunity to go in there. One thing I noticed was the Maw went down. It was a good Maw. Almost immediately after Strafe was popped. And it's like, you're not really hitting anyone with this.
Yeah, it's
and
just another communication with the Maw, because I mean, we saw that multiple times in that match, and it makes a really quite large difference.
I'm not sure if that would have allowed them to survive, but the people that they grabbed in the Maw were like a third less HP. I think that the Strafe would have been able to kill. Would that have been the difference in terms of keeping the core alive? Probably not. But it's just little things like that, they got to work on in terms of communication. Of course, they do have a sub on. It's not actually their full team. Of course, Liquid Chef is subbing in for them. But still very interesting games.
Yeah, I mean, I was honestly pleasantly surprised with their performance in that match. I thought they played quite well, especially having, they don't even have a fifth announced. So presently, it's only a 4-man squad. If you go to their website, if you go to cloud9.gg, you can take a look at their roster, and they have a question mark for their fifth player. So I don't know if they're trying out Chef, because Team Liquid is kind of in limbo right now. Team Liquid doesn't even, I mean, they don't have a squad. They have publicly announced, look, we're not done with Heroes. We will have a team in Heroes in the long run. But maybe Chef is parting ways. Who knows? But because he played well with them. I really thought game 1, I wasn't sold. Yeah. Game 2, his Brightwing. I think Brightwing's his best character.
Probably there was only one situation where I saw that he was out of position that was sort of in the top lane in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game. And Illidan was able to go on and capitalize that. That was the only misplay that I saw Chef make there.
Yeah, I would agree.
He was playing pretty solidly, and he had great disengages. I don't know if he had any bad Emerald wins, except for the overlap on the Maw. All the other Emerald wins were excellent. Did exactly what he wanted to do. Stall the team fights
I would even say that I think the Emerald win went off first. I think that was more of the Maw.
Yeah, it may have been. It may have been. So really nice job to C9 Vortex. We saw some strong play out of them. We hope to see them again in future Kings of the Storm tournaments. So thanks for playing, guys.
Yeah.
And Symbiote will move on to the semifinals of this no losers bracket, loser out killer style tournament here. So.
Well, we actually have some big updates here.
Yes, we do.
Looks like we had some really short games, and we're going to be showing you the bracket in just a second. Corey, you can actually start talking about it while I update all the graphics
Sure,
here.
Absolutely. Let me pull that up. Okay, so it looks like as though Evil Genius has advanced 2-0 over ESV Wildfire. C9 Maelstrom, of course, they look strong in the game that we casted. They advanced 2-0 over Clairvoyant Gaming. And as far as I know, Glorious versus ESV Tempest is happening right now. I'm not sure which stream that is on. So check out one of the other 2 streams at twitch.tv/StanderTheGamer or twitch.tv/ForecourtJester. It's going to be on one of those 2 streams, I'm sure. So I think I'm actually not sure which game we're going to be casting after this. I'll assume Symbiote Gaming versus Evil Geniuses, but I can't say that for sure.
Well, yeah, we'll have to hit up the master, Mr. CSC, to figure out our fate here. But yes, I actually have the updated graphics, so let's take a look at it here. As we see that Cloud9 Vortex initially went over Hype Squad to fall to Symbiote Gaming. Symbiote advances to face their opponents, Evil Geniuses, who has had some lackluster performances in past weeks.
Looks like they're doing good now.
This week we're missing 2 of their regulars. I think that we're having some roster switch-ups here. Now, I think LZ is being subbed out. I think LZ is on a cruise. But
what a lucky guy.
But let's actually pull up there. I know we have a document here. I think it's on Reddit. And yeah, we can actually take a look at it here. The Reddit post. Now it's Faye, Idra, Rusty, Mookie Pants, and Equinox, I believe, is the roster they're running because LZ's not here. Typically, we have in the past it was who? Chillatek
and Keelax.
Now those guys look like they might be.
We're not sure. They haven't made any announcements yet.
They haven't said anything on the roster, but maybe this is the new EG squad because you know what? EG didn't look great at BlizzCon. They didn't look good in the past few
King to the Storm tournaments. Yeah.
And here they are, going over ESV Wildfire, a very formidable team in a best-of-3 series. 2-0, they beat them.
2-0, yep.
And they're
very
going to be facing Symbiote. So this is a challenge for them, that's for sure.
If you guys want to prove yourselves, e.g., if you want to prove yourselves, now is the time. Because take out SMG. We're waiting for someone to do it. Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to be, Maelstrom, another big
I want to see what they can pull
contestant here. Maelstrom will be facing the winner of Glorious and ESV Tempest, and we're still waiting on the update for that, so you guys can probably find that match. If you're looking at the multi-stream, I've seen it linked in the chat a few times. Looks like it's on Xander's channel. Make sure you watch that series. Guys, we're going to throw a quick commercial break while we wait for our next game here. So grab some food, grab a drink, have a drink for us.
Check out the other match while we're waiting.
Yeah, we'll be watching it with you.
We'll be back with one of the semifinal matches, I'm sure.
Yeah, as soon as we know what it is, we will tell you. I got to fix my graphic before we throw to that screen. Corey, talk.
Corey, talk.
Talk.
All right, so who do you think's going to win between Glorious and Tempest? It depends. I'm actually not positive who is playing for Glorious. I know that Glaurung was having some issues. I hope he is playing for them this week. Let's see. Yes, he is. It looks like they have their usual crew, except that they have Nirak in, and he was somebody I know that they were playing with a lot. They were
very
testing
cool.
him out. I want to say he's their support, but I'm not positive. Or was Syracuse their support? I don't recall. But it's good to see that Glaurung is back, and of course they have been a very strong team in the past.
Of course, yeah. Well, guys. We'll let you know as soon as we know our match.
Yes.
We'll pop in Twitter, we'll pop in the chat, we'll let you guys know what our next match will be. And it should be starting pretty darn soon, so don't go away. We will be back in just a few. See you then.